The Church of Scientology has just opened its new $57 million Australasian headquarters. Kate Sobrano was there, as was Scientology global leader and best friend to Tom Cruise, David Miscavige.
You might say this moment in Anglo history equates to a cosmic alignment of universal factors.
But many say the timing was calculated to head off publicity around Louis Theroux's new movie about the secretive church.
How you doing, Mr. Squirrel? And I don't want him filming me.
Well, you're filming us. To me, the most shocking thing probably was when they popped up at the airport.
You guys are embarrassing and pathetic. Pathetic. Disgusting. And it's all over your face. Yep. Terrible.
So what does all of this mean for the future of Scientology? Well, for more on this, we're joined by Seven's investigative journalist, Bryan Seymour. Bryan, we love having you on. Nice to see you.
You too.
Talk us through the grand opening of the Sydney Centre. What was the atmosphere like?
It was, there was a lot of joy for Scientologists, mainly flown in from Taiwan, Russia and Japan, a few local Scientologists, about 1,500 I'd say. There was also this menacing security presence out the front, and they got quite nasty and personal, and in particular with me and with my cameraman, who was quite shaken. They were like stopping us from talking to neighbours and whispering quite awful things into our ears, and it was a typical Scientology full-court press, but otherwise a very secretive, but for those inside, seemingly joyful occasion.
Looks like a big centre. Kate Sobrano performed. She has reached new heights within the church. What's happened?
Well, up the bridge to total freedom, which is that you want to reach the top of the bridge in Scientology, is operating Thetan level 8. It costs anywhere between $500,000 and $2 million to get there. I think Tom Cruise is operating Thetan level 8, or OT8. There you go. There's an internal Scientology video, a screenshot. Kate celebrating her completion of operating Thetan level 8. Now, to do that, you have to do the courses on a luxury ship called the Freewinds. It's Scientology's own cruise ship that is based in Florida, where their world headquarters is, and there it is. Look at it. It's a beautifully appointed cruise ship, and you do all the final courses. Some of the courses you do, I can read from one of them here, from Scientology's internal documents. Find some plants, trees, and communicate them individually until you know they have received your communication. Talk to animals and communicate with them until you know the communication is received and, if possible, returned. So Kate now has the power to communicate with plants, animals, travel through space and time and move objects with her mind. That's the stated objective of that level.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about the film, because I know there's a lot there about the film I want to get to. It's a new Scientology documentary. It opens tomorrow around the country. What's in it? Is there anything new in it? What is it going to tell us? This
is Louis Theroux's unique and wonderful take on a subject that he hasn't grappled before. I guess a lot of people in Australia, particularly viewers of this network, would have seen much of what's in there. There he is, doing one of the exercises, commanding a glass ashtray how to behave and what to think. That's a real exercise. And the great thing about this, he couldn't get access to the people at the top of Scientology, like David Miscavige, so he cast actors in roles and scripted reenactments from one of the top lieutenants in Scientology, and you get this chillingly real. They rebuilt the sets of the actual places where these things occurred, and you get this chilling and unique insight into what really it's like in there. This reenactment happened at the base in California, the one on screen now. That's a man playing David Miscavige, berating, abusing staff. That's what it's really like in there. You don't see that public side.
How worried are the church about this film?
Well, they're horrified. They filmed Louis Theroux there. They are filming him while he was making it, and they are planning an attack movie. They put out these attack sites and attack movies about anyone who's criticised them, including the Oscar-winning director Alex Gibney, who made the documentary about them. So they're planning an attack site against him, and I believe they're going to be watching this now and sending a statement to you to put on the website, which we'll have to scan to make sure it's not defamatory or full of inaccuracies.
Well, Scientology numbers are dwindling. What do you think that is? Well,
I mean, clearly the role the media's played in the last decade, us here at Channel 7, Steve Kinane at the ABC, and in the United States, Tony Ortega and the St. Petersburg Times, just revealing exactly the nature of Scientology. Now, none of us are criticising their beliefs. I don't have anything against Scientology beliefs whatsoever. It's what they do to people. And I'm talking about exercises that are brainwashing exercises designed to extract money and labour from people who they call volunteers. I would call indentured servants. Children as young as 5 signing billion-year contracts. Women being forced to have abortions. Families cut off. I'm trying to help a family in Perth today find their son, whom they haven't seen for 37 years because they left Scientology. That's what they do to people, and I think the wider community is aware of that now, so they're not joining. They're not signing up to be abused by this group anymore.
Surely there's been a lot of investment in that property. $57 million has been spent on it. They said that numbers are dwindling in the church. What's the future hold for Scientology?
Well, they have big openings like this, media events that they film and put on the Scientology website for Scientologists to watch, to give them the impression the church is expanding when in fact its numbers are falling. And one of the reasons for that is that they rely on top-end donors, a handful of very rich people who give them a lot of money. Nancy Cartwright gave them $10 million in 1 year. So they keep having these openings and events to convince the donors to keep giving money for the next thing. It all goes straight up the top. One reviewer of the Louis Theroux movie described Scientology as it's hard not to be fascinated by the sheer weirdness of what seems closer to a deranged pyramid scheme than a religion in the conventional sense.
What about people speaking out? I mean, we had Leah Remini leave, I think, either this year or last year. Are we going to see more of that?
Well, I've long been waiting for one of the big two to leave, and I think that will be the final death knell for this abusive group. If John Travolta or Tom Cruise leave, they don't answer questions about the well-documented abuse and the well-documented inconsistencies in the life story of the founder, L. Ron Hubbard. They should answer those questions. They promote Scientology. You have to take responsibility for what the group does to people.
Bryan, you mentioned before, very quickly, that the church rebuff people who speak out against them, Tony Ortega. Have you been the subject of any of that?
Oh, no, Tom. No. They've left me alone entirely. Of course I have. Of course I have. Yeah. Stop laughing, everyone. Yeah. No, I have. They've come after me pretty hard at some times. Early on, it was very disconcerting. But you know what I realised is that basically they are bullies, and the thing about bullies is that bullies are cowards. So I don't have to worry about Scientology. I think those people in there committing the abuses have to worry about their behaviour, have a good hard look at themselves.
Right. We're talking about the final two leaving. Do you think that's likely?
I always say yes, and you know, I'm continually disappointed that they don't. At some stage, they will. I mean, I've spoken to people who were in for 30 years, given over $1 million, and they get out and think, what did I just waste 30 years of my life for? I've got no friends, no money. Why did I do that? I think yes, the answer is yes, they'll come to that point. How and when, I'm not sure. Yeah,
sure. Bryan, thanks for talking to us, and we look forward to Louis Theroux's film coming out.
The movie opens tomorrow. Louis Theroux will be in Australia for a speaking tour at the end of the month, and he's got 2 new shows coming out in the BBC.
Excellent. Very interesting man. Good stuff. Thanks, Bryan.